Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Tea, where we bring you real and relatable conversations about life, military, and beyond. Yes, y'all, we talk about it all, everything. But this week's episode is all about a question that was submitted by one of our fabulous viewers. And she wanted us to talk about if it's important to maintain our own identity beyond being a military spouse, and if so, how? So, folks, you got myself, Sybil, Grace, and Mai, our fabulous conversation starters, and we are ready to spill the tea on how we balance supporting our husbands while keeping our own dreams, passions, and individuality alive. Let me hear you backstage. Why? Say woo. Okay, people in the comments say woo. Yeah. I still have them muted backstage. And I'm looking at Nishita. She's like, not on stage, and Grace is laughing at me. But anywho, forgive me, folks. I am just trying to pump myself up today. Are y'all ready? Look, Grace is trying to talk. I still have her backstage. I mean, today I'm just having a good time. I'm just trying to have a little fun. That's all, just having a little fun. But before we get started, do you want to give a shout out to our sponsor, USAA, who keeps Milspouse Conversations hot? All right. Now, they are dedicated to supporting military spouses just like you, and their Military Spouse Resource Hub has tools and resources to help you thrive in every aspect of your life. Let me ask our conversation starters this question before we get into our topic. Do y'all frequent USAA's Resource Hub?
If I have questions, I do. It's a resource. Yeah. It's definitely a resource tab.
Yeah.
Y'all want to know where I love to go?
Where do you love to go, Sybil?
Okay, because you knew I was going to tell you regardless, right?
Want to go where everybody knows your name. That's where I want to
go. So y'all here at military life events, joining the military move, PCS, deployment, and leaving the military. All those are right there. Now, I do check out the military move PC. Oh, Lord. I can't talk. I need to go to bed. It's been a long day here in Bahrain, y'all. Okay, anywho, the military move PCS section. But my ultimate favorite spot is, I'm looking at my other screen, if y'all are wondering why I'm looking over here to the side. It's under the advice and the military pay calculator. Let me tell you why I love this. Because y'all know when it comes time to choose locations, you see me say choose locations. Put in your wish list. You can come right here, select, and it will give you an estimated military pay. Have y'all ever used this?
I've never used a USAA one, though.
No. Great. You know what, Grace? Should we give her grace?
Yes.
Yes.
No. Bye, Grace.
I'll use it now.
All right. Now that I've rambled on, grab your drinks, settle in, and let's get into this conversation. Y'all ready? All right. So before we can answer the question about if it's important to have our own identity, let's define what a milspouse is. How do you define it, Nishida?
Just someone who's married to a military service member?
Is that it?
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it?
No. What else is to it?
No. No, because I've been asked that question. Have y'all met people out and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a milspouse. And they're like, well, what is a military spouse? Like what?
The words
What
don't
does
come
that
out of my mouth and nobody knows what it is, so I don't even talk to them. Somebody says, "Who are you?" The first thing I say is not, "I'm a milspouse." I don't know why. Probably because I started out as a dual spouse. So I never properly transitioned. And even then I was just always like, they're like, I always just introduce myself as me. I don't know. I never really was like, I don't know. It's hard with the identities, I think.
You know what, Nishida? I love that response. Why? This is why. Because I'm just going to tell y'all personally, for me, I'm the same. When I meet people, the first thing out of my mouth is not, I'm a military spouse. Even when I'm on a military base, I don't say, hi, I'm Sybil. I'm a military spouse. I'm like, hey. I may not even tell you my name because I'm like, you need to know my name? I might make up the
name. That's right. What do you need it for? That's right.
Like, oh, so, Grace, how do you define?
The same exact way. That's literally what I was going to say.
Angela, that's weird to say that's who you are. Now, I met Angela in person, and I said some weird things to Angela when we first met at the baseball field, but that's okay. I don't think military spouse came out my mouth, though, but other weird things.
I don't see why I would. Like, that's not natural.
This is so weird, right? It would sound weird.
So what's your response if someone says that to you guys?
Says what?
Hi, I'm Mary, a military spouse.
Oh.
I'd probably just brush right past it because I don't even compute. Like, it'd just be like, oh, okay.
I just say hi.
Yeah,
I don't know why you're telling me that you're married to a service member.
Good job. Good job. Supporting the troops.
Good job. All right. So have y'all struggled with having your own individuality as a spouse? No? Have you ever? Do you feel like you have to fit into a particular stereotype because you are a military spouse?
I don't think I feel like I have to. I think I see people who try to, but I'm not one that feels like I have to be a certain way because they're married to a service member. Yeah. Listen, I'm the one that says like we're just people. So no, it doesn't. The military, my husband being in the military doesn't affect who I am as a person. That's just what he does, and I'm married to him.
I think there have been times, I guess. So like when they get that assignment that you really didn't want, but you have to go there, and then it kind of disrupts your whole life. In a way, it's kind of like, well, who am I going to be now? You know what I mean? Like for me, this is what has happened to me. It's just been like, okay, this is who I am being here, doing this thing at this job. Maybe I'm not the job, but I have my own identity. I have my own stuff I'm doing. And then it's just disrupted by some PCS move or some surprise orders or some going somewhere that's not even like supportive of what I'm doing and like out of the country or something like that. And during those times, I think I have felt like, you know, just like they tell you, oh, you're not in the sea bag, but they will stuff you in there and like shove you around the world. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not in there and then you are. And they kick you out of it. So it's like they kick you in and out of the sea bag all the time. You know what I mean? And to me, this is just my perception of it. And then when it's time to have an identity, sometimes you don't get to have the same type of career arc that your husband might be having. Now, not all military spouses experience this, because some of us just continue on with the life, and the service members more like staying in areas where it's more conducive and it's kind of harmonious. And then some of us are kind of just like, okay, we'll go over here, go over there, we're moving here.
Me, that's me. I'm over here just like, oh, okay, where we going? Let's go.
Right. And that's true. But how about you were working at a job where you were already at a certain position, now you're about to, get your next
Okay,
level.
so you know what, Nishita? I have a response for that. So when I met my husband, we met in college, and I was very career focused. And I started my career, and I was climbing up the corporate ladder. Every time we moved, those first few years in our marriage, I did take a little step back in my career, but within 6 months, I was right back where I was, and then I increased each time. Now, I personally made the choice to stay at home once we started having children because I wanted to be home with my kids. I did go back to work, picked up my career right where I left off. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm a logistician by trade. My degree is in logistics. Yes. When I met my husband, he said, "Who studies logistics?" And y'all know what he does now. I was like, boy, please. He was a finance major. But anywho. And once I was home for a while, I did get bored being at home. Because I'm not a Susie homemaker. I'm not. My husband will tell you. I don't cook. We've been married for 22 years, though. I'm doing something right. Sorry. That was a squirrel moment. But this is me. When we were talking about stereotypes, I'm kind of flip-flopping around here. This is who I am. I have never fallen into the stereotypes when it came to military spouses. I'll be honest with y'all. When we first got married, I was like, military spouse, what the heck is that? I'm Sybil Jones. Who just so happened married a sailor. But this is who you're going to always get, no matter what, from day one. Now, Nishita met me many years ago. This is me. This is who I was when you met me, right? Mm-hmm. And Grace, we met in person once. And this is who you saw. With green heels, with the mirror. The heels had a mirror. So I'm like, with your identity, when I think of identity, I don't look at it as what you're doing, but who you are as an individual, not your career path. That's different in my book. I look at you maintaining your individuality as who you are as a person and being true to who you are.
Okay, so strip away every title you have and then tell me who you are.
I am Sybil Roddy Jones, a lover of life. That's me. That's all.
But see how difficult that is? If you strip away every title you have and then try to tell someone who you are, what are you left with? We are, unfortunately, a product of labels and titles. And whether we have them for ourselves or whether other people put them on us. Now, what I'm against are the ones people put on me. I like to have my own labels that I use for myself. Like, maybe today I might be Nishita, I'm an artist because I'm in an artist circle. So of course I'm going to share that with them. I'm going to say, oh yes, I'm an artist too. But then maybe I might be Nishita, the manager. I have a business degree. I've managed different, divisions and things like that. And I might say, oh, I'm this. When I was a sailor, I was a sailor. I think just saying I'm me, which I love that. I love saying I'm me too, but fundamentally when you try to just say who am I, you know what I mean? I think that a lot of introspection has to go into that. Who am I?
That is true. I agree with you on the label piece. But at the end of the day, when I lay my head down at night, I have to know who I am without being a mom. Because as you said, there's a lot of labels. I'm a mom. One, I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a stroke warrior. I'm a military spouse. We went in order. I guess military spouse would go.
Yeah.
I'm a Christ follower, which Grace, that brings me to a question for you.
Mhm.
Because I want to talk with you about how you maintain your individuality when it comes to your passion and faith in God in the Milspouse community specifically.
Yeah, I think that's a really difficult thing to continue. Let's move away from the military spouse stigmas and go into just the military. It's vulgar, it's harsh, it could be rough. And so being a follower of Christ is a really hard line to draw. It's easier for me because when I'm relating to spouses, we don't have that same type of environment. We have a different environment. Um, but I think if you hold that true identity, you create your faith, you turn your faith into a part of you and your identity. It's easier to lay out and show and open up to other people as that. But I also think it's accountability on placing yourself in situations where you should be compared to places that you shouldn't be. So that's going to be, events that you're going to, people that you're surrounded with. And it's not to say that some people are better than the others, but what you consume is what you become, right? And so you want to make sure you're kind of aligned in those ways. But I think being a military spouse, there's a lot of events or things that I've gone to where like religion was just not something you talked about, or Christianity is something that's not talked about. I've been to conferences and stuff for military spouses where they had a prayer in the opening and there was automatic bicker of whether or not we should have prayer at this event or not. And it surprised me because to me, I'm like, yeah, of course you should. You're gathering as people, we're grateful for the situation and stuff. And it turned into this like, this is a military spouse event. This is not a religious event. And so that kind of like brought an interesting thought to myself of like spouses who are followers of Christ. I don't think we have a full community within our community of that. And I don't think there's really a big space for that either. And I think there's a lot of judgment just in our world in general about it. So yeah, but that falls into identity. I mean, if you're going to be a follower of Christ, you really have to identify as that and act as such, so that could be a hard thing to do in this space.
Now, I will say every ball that I've been to, and I know you were talking about a spouse event specifically, but the Navy balls I've attended, they've always had prayer before dinner.
Right.
So I would think a spouse event and having prayer. I'm a follower of Christ as well, and I feel like if whatever your faith is, if you do not have faith, if you do not believe in God, you are more than welcome to excuse yourself.
Right.
It's the same as, I'm in Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
Do not go to the mosque.
Mm-hmm.
We worship the same God, like in different ways.
Right.
But I do not go to the mosque. And I just know, okay, Sybil, you're not going to the mosque on Friday. I'm going to go to the church on base on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Worship it. And Grace, I will tell the viewers, this was 3 years ago, I had a conversation with Grace. We had an event, and I had been talking to Grace for a while, and I know I was probably getting on her nerves. And one thing she said to me, she's like, "Can I pray with you?" And Grace, I got off that call and I just boohoo cried because first time after, like, seriously, with what I had dealt with the stroke, that was the first time that I had people reaching out to me. When we were in Virginia, people came to our house, bought my family food. But you were the first person, other than my family, that asked me, "Hey, can I pray with you?"
Oh, I'm glad I could be that person.
I was just like, "Oh my God," I just cried. And I still talk about it. I've actually told Rita that story several times.
Yeah.
I'm like, Grace was like, "Can I pray with you?"
Yeah, I think that's another thing too, is like when we talk identity and Nishida, you're like, labels and stuff like that. I don't introduce myself as Grace, a Milspouse, or Grace, a Christian, or Grace, or whatever. But in my conversations, I let my identity come through, right? I do follow Christ. Hey, can I pray for you? Hey, can we do this? Hey, do you want to join us at the church? Hey, do you want to come hang out at the house in fellowship? And I think that's how you show your identity. I don't think anyone should really come out with labels. I don't think you should introduce yourself as such, but I think your personality, the way you carry yourself, how you interact with people, what you invite them to, that's all showing your identity. And those are things that, you can create for yourself in any way, follower or not. Everyone's their own person.
Yeah, and I think people don't like to admit it, but they have different identities with different groups of people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It sounds two-faced, but it's not. It's just you being who you are with those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very natural thing to do.
I'm showing up. Look, Nishida, I'm showing up listening to my mystical, regardless of who I'm walking into. I'm like, boom, 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 and then I'm like, okay, let me play that in my head. Then I'm like, forget that. Here I go.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke, folks. It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke. Now, Nishida, I want to ask you, as a veteran and now as a military spouse, how important was it because you and your husband were dual military. So he wasn't a military spouse. So never mind. Squash that question.
He hates when I say that, but I'm like, buddy, you were a military spouse too. And he's like, I was like, yeah, because you were married to me and I was married to you. That made us both military spouses. Yes. I think if he's watching, my bad.
He's like, But being a veteran yourself, how important is it? I'm trying to read my notes, but I can't read my chicken scratch right now. Hold on. Let me do my stroke talk segment real quick because Grace didn't have her segment today.
Oops.
I shouldn't make her do one anyway. Okay, real quick, folks, for stroke talks. The signs and symptoms of a stroke can occur quickly. However, they can also develop over hours or even days. So think about headaches and feeling dizzy. If you have those signs, they can linger for days. I know sometimes people are like, oh, I had this major headache down for 2 weeks. You might want to have that checked out. Now, for me, my symptoms of a stroke were immediate. It was the stroke hit. There was no symptoms, no signs, no nothing until it happened. So that's your stroke fact for today, for this week. All right. And we're back to where's Nishida?
She disappeared. That's pretty funny. There she is.
Where'd you go?
Oh,
and she's muted.
I said I went to turn the fan on. I was hot.
Why are you hot?
This is literally the hottest place I've ever been in my life. And I lived in the Valley of California. I just feel like where my jellies melted to the concrete.
Where you're
My jellies,
so
they melted.
for our viewers, leave us some comments. Let us know how you keep your identity beyond being a Milspouse. And y'all, is that rude when I do this? Like I do quotes. I don't mean it in any way. I mean, I'm a Milspouse too, but as a Milspouse.
Yeah, and when I'm around, like especially when I go to groups and stuff, I'm also a Milspouse. So maybe
And
I don't
as
like.
military spouses, do y'all talk about other things beyond military life? Because I've been asked that question too. I've had people say, I just see military spouses talking about military stuff all the time. Moving, deployments, this or that. And I'm like, well, that's not the main topic of my conversations. Like, really, they're not at all. Unless we're going through a PCS, I might talk to you about a duty station I'm going to, but from day to day, from day to day. Oh, Lord. I need to go to bed. What is wrong with me?
I think here in sorry, go ahead, Nashina, my bad.
Go ahead.
I think here in El Paso, we're not on a Marine Corps base, and so most of my interactions are not specifically with military spouses, but in like our mom group, for example, I find that because there is an Army base here, a lot of the introductory questions are like, oh, are y'all a military family? Oh, how long have you been in El Paso? And then like once that's swept and you kind of like gauge how long that person's going to be here, how long they've been here, then it moves on to like normal conversation. But I think it's just like a peak interest for both people who aren't military. They're just curious, like, are you military, And then people who are a military family, it's more so of like, oh, is this person going to be here for the next 3 weeks, or are they going to be here for the next 3 years? And so that's kind of just that like introductory speech, I guess, and then you kind of move on from that. That's what I've noticed here amongst the moms groups.
Let's see. In my experience, I think it's like depends on the group you're with. So some military spouses are really serious about the military. They talk about it all the time and about policies and about, different things that are affecting the families, and they talk about the, just the general day-to-day. And then some military spouse groups talk about the chisme, like they talk about like what's going on the base, what's going on with everybody, what's happening and stuff like that. And then sometimes there are a group of military spouses who maybe they're a single family home, they don't have kids, or they might talk about their pets a lot, or talk about like how the policies affect their pets. I'm not like, that wasn't funny, but I'm just saying like because I'm a pet person, and it's a whole thing. That's why I chuckle, because
what, Nashina? You hurt Tiana's feelings.
She was relating to it. That was the stress laugh.
Right, because it's amazing how they never throw your pets in the sea bag ever. They never right in there, and it's like, hey Tiana. But it's like traveling, trying to get these, commuting these pets. Sometimes you're like, am I trafficking right now? Because they have all these different laws. Also not funny. That was inappropriate. I'm sorry, but it's just
Tiana's like, get her.
But it's like, so some people talk about those things, and then other groups of people in the military are not even thinking about the military at all. It's not even on their radar, but what they're talking to you about is like their job, the chisme at work, or the things that's happening in their personal lives. With whatever is happening, that's the thing that's in the forefront of their mind. And so that's what I really think, is that it's just like any other place you go in life where a group of people come together, and people are talking about whatever's in the forefront of their mind, whatever's affecting their life at that point. Yeah. So that's what I think.
I agree.
Yeah, and then I'm over here just like, let's just talk. What y'all want to talk about? Which brings me to our events. the conversation. Which, ladies, we are going to have another one this month, the end of this month. And it's an opportunity for all of our viewers to come behind the scenes. It's going to be virtual, but to come behind the scenes and chat with us. And we're going to do a couple of different ones where each of the conversation starters will lead a topic, and then we will have some free-for-all questions that you can ask us, and we will give you our 2 cents. We ain't afraid. We talk about it. And we have a couple of events happening here in Bahrain. So if you're in Bahrain, pay attention. Watch the calendar. And we have Texas in the house too, right?
Yes. I'm trying to
I
decide
put
on a
Grace on the
venue. No, yeah. We're looking for a cool venue, a nice venue that we want to actually sit and talk in.
Yes, and we have some big plans for 2025. So we need all of you to pay attention, because it's going to be fabulous. All right, folks. We said 30 minutes. We didn't have our scuttlebutt segment because somebody forgot. And we didn't have our There Ain't No Way segment. And then because somebody
You pointed the wrong way.
forgot. And then this one over here, she hadn't had a segment in a while because what's your problem?
We're so good at conversation, we still made it 30 minutes without it.
Right. It'd
Right?
be 30
It's all
And let's
good.
even touch on all the questions I had, because y'all, I'm trying to be better, Grace. I'm trying to focus. As Grace tells me, focus, Sybil, focus.
Yeah, because my segment, I get into it, and then you'd be like, put a pin in that. I have so many pins and so many segments. I don't need any more segments.
But next week, y'all, we are going to talk about letting go as moms. And
Oh,
yeah,
man, the
Nashida.
Frozen song stuck in my head now. Thanks, Sybil.
Let it go, let it go. And Nashida, we're going to talk about the college mom. The one you sent. You sent me the link. So y'all best watch next week. Tune in live right here, because that's what Nashida going to talk about.
We'll catch you next week.
Thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Tell your friends. Don't keep this to yourself. You can be yourself here at Milspouse Conversations, because I sure in the heck am.
Yeah, buy me a lemonade, y'all. It's hot out here.
Buy you a lemonade. Okay. Yes, buy us a lemonade. When you buy us a coffee, we'll send it to Nashida for lemonade.
Yes,
Actually,
I'm going to be
Nashida,
drinking non-alcoholic watermelon mojito. So just if you wanted to know what I would be drinking, if you bought it. It's very
They are
refreshing. It's very hot in here. Like my insides are cooking itself. So like, help me, please. Please.
good night, folks. If you love the show, give us some thumbs up, some hearts. Let us know. Like, tell us what you are thinking. That's the only way we can deliver what you want.
Give the people what they want.
Good night.
Bye.
I'm looking for the song again.
But I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight it's all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you.
All right, guys. I have to mess with the conversation starters from time to time, especially Nashida. I mess with her. But no, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the love and the support. Make sure, I'm out of breath. Tired. Make sure you spill the tea to all your friends about what we have going on here at Milspouse Conversations. We're different. We bring a whole different flair, whole different energy to not only the military spouse community, but to the world. We are here to have real and relatable conversations about life that are meant to inspire and empower you in every area of your life, even when you're out of breath, like me. I'm hitting the gym on Sunday. I'm gonna get back in the gym because I should not be huffing and puffing like this. All right. Have a good day. I'm going to get ready for bed because it's bedtime here in Bahrain. Lulu. Bye. And thank you once again to USAA for their support of Milspouse Conversations. Thank you. All right. Bye.